The scream came from my bedroom, but I was standing in the kitchen. That was the first impossible thing. The second was that when I played the voicemail I'd left for my mother 3 minutes before, it wasn't my voice. It was the scream, repeated, like a loop. I'm a sophomore at Millbrook College. My parents left for a cruise 2 days ago. They said I'd be fine alone. I said I would. I meant it. I live in a rented house on Maple Street. Old wood, creaky floors, a basement I've never gone into. That Friday night, I just finished a geography quiz online. I was making ramen. The clock said 11:47. The scream tore through the house. It came from upstairs, from my bedroom. But I hadn't been upstairs in hours. I froze. The sound was raw, male, desperate, like someone was being pulled apart. It lasted 3 seconds. Then, silence. I called out. No answer. I grabbed a frying pan and walked up the stairs. My bedroom door was open. The window was shut. The bed was made. Nothing was moved. But my phone was on the nightstand, screen lit, recording. I pressed play. It was the scream. But it was my scream, my voice distorted, pleading, distorted. I didn't scream. I called 911. The operator said they'd send a patrol. I waited in the living room, clutching the pan, watching the front door. When the officers arrived, they searched the house, the yard, the basement. Nothing. They asked if I'd been drinking. I said no. They left with a warning, keep your doors locked. I locked everything. I checked every window. I tried to sleep, but I kept hearing the scream in my head, my own voice, but not mine. At 2 a.m., I heard a sound outside, not a scream, a low, rhythmic scraping, like someone dragging a boot across the sidewalk. I peered through the blinds. 4 men stood at the edge of my lawn. They weren't homeless. They were dressed in identical gray hoodies, faces slack, eyes fixed on my window. They weren't moving. They were just watching. I ducked. I called the police again. They said they'd send a car. I waited 5 minutes, 10. I looked out again. The men were gone. But the scraping sound continued, now coming from inside the house, from the basement. I didn't go down. I sat against the front door, pan in one hand, phone in the other. The scraping stopped. Then a single knock, soft, deliberate, came from the basement door. I called the police a 3rd time. They said the patrol had already driven by and seen nothing. I begged them to come. They said they would. They never did. At 3:15, I heard a stone hit the front door. Not a crack, a dull thud. I didn't open it. I called my mother's voicemail and left a message. Something's wrong. Please call me. Then I heard my own voice from upstairs, not recorded, not played, just a whisper. Don't open the door. I covered my ears. The whisper repeated louder, don't open the door. And then, you already did. I looked at my hand. I was holding the door handle. I hadn't moved, but the deadbolt was turned, unlocked. I had no memory of doing it. I slammed the lock shut. I dragged a chair and wedged it under the knob. I stayed awake until dawn. When the sun came up, I went outside to check the stone. It wasn't a stone. It was a key, an old brass key, rusted, with a tag that read basement. I don't have a key to the basement. The door has no lock. I'd never seen that key before. I called my parents. No answer. I texted my roommate, who was staying at his girlfriend's. He replied, "You okay? You called me 3 times last night. I didn't pick up." I checked my call log. 3 calls to him, each at 2 a.m., each lasting exactly 17 seconds. I don't remember dialing. I went back inside. I tried the key on the basement door. It didn't fit. But the moment I touched it, the scraping started again. Louder, closer, like it was just on the other side of the door. I didn't open it. I threw the key into the backyard. I called the police again. They said they'd install a security camera tomorrow. I said I needed it now. They said, "We'll see." That night I slept with the lights on. At 3 a.m., I heard the stone again, not on the front door, but on the bedroom window. I looked out. The 4 men were back, standing in a line, holding stones. One of them raised his arm and threw. The glass cracked. I didn't scream. I just watched, and then I saw his face, the one who threw, and I recognized him. It was me. It was my face, older, hollow-eyed, with a gray hoodie. He smiled. I backed away. I called my roommate, but the line was dead. I checked my phone. The screen showed a live feed from the camera that hadn't been installed yet. I saw myself standing in the bedroom, watching myself through the window. And I saw the future me, who threw the stone, walk away into the dark. The camera footage showed me opening the front door at 3:12 a.m. I let the 4 men in. They walked past me. I followed them into the basement, and then I screamed, the same scream from the first night. I watched the footage. I watched myself scream, and then I saw the screen go black. I'm still in the house. The basement door is open now. I didn't open it, but I can hear the scraping coming up the stairs, and I can hear my own voice whispering from the dark, "You've done this before. You'll do it again." The key is back in my pocket. I don't remember picking it up. I'm writing this because I think I'm the one who screams. I think I'm the one who throws stones. I think the men are just echoes, versions of me that never left the basement, and I think I'm about to join them. The door is creaking. The light just flickered. I'm going to look, but before I do, I need to tell you what I found when I finally checked the basement, not through the door, but through the footage that kept playing even after the screen went black. It showed me walking down the stairs alone. No 4 men, no screaming, just me holding the brass key, placing it on a dusty shelf. Then I sat in the corner, picked up a rock and threw it at the basement window from the inside. I threw it over and over until the glass shattered, and then I climbed out into the night and walked around to the front yard, where I joined a line of 3 other figures, all wearing grey hoodies, all with my face. I watched myself watch myself. I was the screamer and the silent observer. I was the group and the lone victim. The key in my pocket isn't for the basement. It's for the front door, and I've already unlocked it. The scraping is now footsteps coming up the stairs. 4 sets. I hear them breathing. I'm not going to look. I already know who's there. I'm going to open the door and let them in, because I'm already one of them. I always have been. The scream I heard that first night, it was mine, and it's still coming.